If you can understand the principle I'm about to share, you're probably going to have a long journey in print on demand that will most likely be successful. I want to share kind of my principle, my ideology, a thought process that I kind of truly believe since the beginning. I never even thought about it truly up until recently, but my actions show that it's completely true. And all of you probably can think the same way when I kind of mention what this is. What's the principle? The principle is that if something is possible, it does not mean that it's probable. And I want to reference this specifically for my big five. These are my big five platforms, guys. I have Redbubble, Teepublic, I have Etsy, I have Soceity6, and I have Zazzle. These are right now the big five. And could that change in the future? It absolutely could. You guys know I'm on Displate. I have a Spreadshirt shop. I have a few other things going on, Cafe Press. I'm working on some e-commerce stores, of course. But in terms of marketplace websites, these are the ones that I'm consistently looking at, consistently uploading to. I'm looking at different things. Like, for example, I'm on Displate, but I'm not uploading every day to Displate, So these are just little examples that I'm throwing out here. But specifically, what is possible is not what is probable. And I kind of want to put some things into reference. Of course, we all get lucky. Of course, there are days where we are extremely massively successful. And there are even some times where we can point out certain situations in print on demand, specifically with these marketplace type sites, where we can point a finger at someone and say, how come they achieved XYZ and I didn't? And I want to actually give an example. Like, if I do the search here, you have this section on Redbubble that says top artists. These are artists that not necessarily based on just sales, but they're chosen. They're literally chosen by Redbubble. So, like, for example, let's click on this account here. This account says it's called Belshazzar, and they got 423 designs, right? And the most famous design here is this one. In the account, I believe it is. Let's go to best selling here. And yep, there it is. This design here is pretty much seen on front pages of Redbubble, and the design actually exists on Teepublic as well. Here it is right here. And it's pretty well known. It's pretty famous, pretty well known. And the reality is probably if you've been scrolling around Teepublic or on Redbubble, you've definitely seen this. This is probably something that you've seen. If I was to take the success of this one design and compare it to all the other designs on the platform, it's possible that you can create a design of that level of success, right? And I'm purely talking about the sales. I'm not really talking about the artwork because there's not much artwork done here. This was just a picture of Jesus Christ. It was cropped, background removed, and it was cut a certain way, and then there's some text added to that. It's clever, of course, but it's not a groundbreaking design. It's not hard to do, right? But if you take the success of that design probably created easily tens of thousands of dollars in profit for the seller. Not even revenue, profit. So we're talking about the commission that they get from the sale. And I say over the years, probably an amalgamation of tens of thousands. You could easily make $50,000, $60,000 for this one design. And I've seen this design for years on the Redbubble front pages. I've seen it pretty much everywhere. So to that I say, it's possible that you can create a design like this and be massively successful, but is it probable? Is it likely? Is it something that's most likely going to happen? And to be honest, for somebody like me, I can clearly state it's probably not going to happen. I'm probably not going to be one of these recommended or top artists. I'm probably not going to be a fan favorite by Redbubble or Teepublic or any other platform. That's what's likely. And so in that situation, it gives me a perfect opportunity to think, okay, well, where do I want to be in the next few years? Do I want to keep still uploading to Redbubble or Teepublic or any of these sites, Etsy, Zazzle, Soceity6? What kind of approach do I want to take? And for me, the answer is very clear. I have no intention of trying to get a knockout or a home run when I upload designs. That's not my intention. My intention is gradual success throughout time. That's my intention. And like I said, I always come back to that one principle. What is likely versus what is possible are two completely different things. It's possible for me to make $1 million a year through print on demand, but is it likely? No. So let me be realistic about where I want to be. And for me, I want to be able to just contribute to sites that will contribute to my financial income later down the road. And I have to ask myself, okay, is the money there? Well, when I go to a platform like Redbubble, right, during its highest quarter, I think it was during COVID or something like that, during Q4, it generated over $90 million. So I say, okay, is it possible for me to get a chunk of that money? Now, it could be a very small chunk. It could be a very small piece of the pie, but I can do it. I can make some money. Then I ask myself, okay, how can I improve on this site? What can I do? What are the things that I can do to, instead of only making $200 or $500 a month, I could get a little bit more? And I ask myself these things. Sometimes the answer might come in the form of me improving a certain skill. Sometimes the answer might come in the form of a software that I can access. There's different things. So for me, I might even look at someone else's strategies or tactics and look into that. And here I am sharing with you guys this mental strategy, this, I guess you could say, this paradigm shift, this way of thinking is that I'm never really trying to win dramatically for any of my designs. The way I look at it is if I create a design and it sells at least once a year, then technically I've won because it only takes me about 30 seconds to create a design. Maybe even less than 30 seconds. I would even say less, to be honest. I can create a batch of designs, post them up. Maybe it takes a couple minutes to create a few designs, but I post them up, and they're probably not even complicated. Let's just say if the design is complicated or it's a little clever, it takes a little bit extra thinking, it takes a few minutes, not that much time, like I said, and I have systems behind these things that I put into place, and I upload them. And if anybody has any kind of questions on, my systems, my strategies, you can go to autopilotpassiveincome.com. And whether you want to get access to our poddegree.com website, which is a free members area, you can access it. There's like a little banner and a button here that will take you there. And it has different links to different free and paid lessons that I have on there. Or you could check out some of my courses. But these are just the ways that I personally do things, and the way that I look at things is, like I said, I'm not trying to look for that one design that makes me a ton of money. What I'm looking for is small wins compounded. And I can see how somebody who, let's say, only uploaded 100 or 200 designs on a certain site might look at that site and say, you know what? I'm not interested in this site anymore. It's not working for me. And I totally get that because I've been in positions where I've tried certain business models and I maybe done some effort, but I haven't succeeded. And I always come back to that time where I was unsuccessful with my first e-com store, and it was a clothing brand. I had bought clothing already. I was too deep in the hole. I had purchased clothing from overseas. I had customized it, and it was here in my house. I had to figure out how to sell it. And I had built the website at this point. I had taken the photos. I just didn't know what I was doing wrong, but I had zero success. And clearly, my logical mind tapped in, and I told myself, I said, well, there's something I'm doing wrong here. There's something I am not doing properly that's leading me to have these zero results, these zero successes. And I said, okay, I don't know what it is at this point, but I'll figure it out eventually. I'll figure out what I'm doing wrong so I can improve over time. And that's exactly what I did. I then started to realize through time and study and effort where I was going wrong with things, where I was going left. I started slowly improving things, and then I started slowly seeing results. And for people who've listened to my story, you guys have heard it, but it's no different than print on demand. It's no different than working on a certain website. Like, let's use Soceity6, for example. I'm writing a book on Soceity6 and everything I've learned on Soceity6, and it wasn't such an easy process to learn it. I've ran so many experiments, so many studies, trying to figure out how do things work on Soceity6, because let's face it, we both know that these platforms don't come out and tell us exactly how the algorithms work. It would be an issue from an IP standpoint, because then other companies can listen to videos or articles like that and they can replicate it, and they can beat their competition by introducing similar technologies. Part of the reason why certain platforms are successful is because of their algorithms, because of their data. So for me, I have to back-end, almost reverse engineer all these kind of processes, because the company's not going to tell me what it is, right? The company's not going to give me the data or the information on these kind of platforms. So I have to tell myself, all right, what is it going to take for me to learn how these platforms work? Now for me, it came in the form of tests. I started running tests on the platform. I started testing different keywords, different titles, and I would particularly, almost on purpose, right, try to break the algorithm, try to get banned on these accounts, because I wanted to see what would it take, you know? So like different things. So I come to different findings. So like, for example, on Soceity6, I came to the finding that you really don't get shadow banned on Soceity6. Your account as a whole does not get shadow banned, but certain designs or certain listings either get chosen to be seen on the marketplace and some don't. That was a study. That was something that I researched through experience, not through a book. When I say research, I don't mean through a book or through a video, because let's face it, this content doesn't exist. But and even if it is, I'm not going to take it for its word. I'm going to test it. But researching through my own experiences, testing different accounts, trying to break those accounts, trying to break the algorithm, trying to see, am I getting banned if I do X, Y, or Z? Testing different things and creating environments for me to learn and for me to see these things. So the reality is if you're not where you want to be, there's probably something you're doing wrong or something you're not doing enough of, right? And the hard thing is, like, people say practice makes perfect, and that's not exactly true. Practice doesn't even necessarily improve, because if you're practicing the wrong way, right, then you're just getting further and further deeper into a hole. So, for example, if I'm creating, let's say, Redbubble designs, and I'm doing the process incorrectly, I'm not doing something good if I just keep going with that same process. I'm hurting myself more through time. So with those two kind of ideologies, those two principles, you can kind of achieve massive success. The first one, like I said, is that probability is not the same thing as possibility. Just because something is possible doesn't mean it's probable. And then the second kind of mental discipline or school of thought is, okay, now I know that it's highly unlikely for me to end up on those situations. How can I, as a commoner, as a regular person on the platform, no favoritism, nothing like that, how can I then earn my way? What can I do to get a level up on the system, a step on the system? And for me, the answer is very clear, is I have to take those certain approaches, like I said, testing, researching, learning different things. Sometimes, like I said, it might come in the form of a course. Sometimes it might come in the form of a book. Sometimes it might come in the form of a software. Sometimes it's just going to be grunt work. I have to do it myself. I have to figure it out. Maybe nobody's going to give me the answer at sometimes. It's just different. Different platforms can offer different things, So hopefully this principle, this ideology was helpful to you guys. I hope this video helps out. And thank you guys for watching. I'll talk to you guys soon, all right? Peace out. Bye.